Final Fantasy has some of the most picturesque and breathtaking locations in any video game series, but it also has some of the most unsettling. Famous for their incredible storylines and extremely lovable characters, it only makes sense that some subjects and stories may feel more harrowing than others. So in this video, we're going to be checking out the 5 scariest locations found across the Final Fantasy series, taking into consideration not only graphical design and atmosphere, but story, lore, and general unsettling vibes that may or may not have been intentional upon the creation of these locations. Final Fantasy IX is my most favorite Final Fantasy game. It's to me the epitome of fantasy, from its character design to the locations and every enemy found within. The plot is thick, but the vibes are still somewhat whimsical. That is until you reach the 5th entry of our list, Memoria, the final dungeon in Final Fantasy IX. This dungeon is created by the memories of the planet. As the party navigates Memoria, Garland fills you in on the unsettling lore of the destruction of Terra and her civilizations and the birth of Gaia, each area being themed to follow the story. Whilst not filled to the brim with horror, you cannot deny the horrible feeling that this place emits, not to mention finally having to fight the 4 Guardians of Terra and the hidden phantoms that exist here to play Tetra Master with. Final Fantasy VII is somehow the more realistic and therefore one of the most unsettling games in the series. You will come across numerous locations and characters that emanate a lot of unease, which brings us to our 4th location on our list, the sunken Gelnika. I'm going to start by saying I don't believe this was intended on being a scary location, yet it certainly feels that way. Found at the bottom of the ocean, which in itself is absolutely terrifying, especially if you know who is lurking down here, but somehow watertight enough with enough oxygen to allow the party to explore the wreckage. You aren't alone down here either. Navigating this creepy, rusted aircraft, you'll be forced into battle with some absolutely horrific, aptly named Unknown, Unknown 2, and Unknown 3s. Whilst their origins are unclear, due to the immense value and the power of the items found aboard the ship, which was used to transport Shinra's anti-Sephiroth weaponry, it might be wise to assume the monsters found here were also created as lab experiments by Hojo himself to combat Sephiroth. Final Fantasy VIII includes some of the most beautiful locations we've ever seen: the Gardens, Fisherman's Horizon, and Dealing City, but it also includes some really unsettling and spooky locations like Centra Ruins and Ultimecia Castle. But what really took me and many other fans by surprise, the 3rd entry in my list, the Ragnarok. Obtaining airships as a mean of navigating the overworld is a main staple for the Final Fantasy series, but the means of obtaining the Ragnarok in Final Fantasy VIII was really something. Upon first entering the ship, Squall and Rinoa bear witness to the horrid beings known as propagators that have infested it. Their creepy, shuffling bodies with 3 legs, long droopy arms, and what appears to be a torso covered in teeth. This monster's design is horrific, especially considering the only alien that we had met before this was the cute and adorable Poo-Poo. Defeating these propagators wasn't much of a challenge, but learning how to keep them down was, not to mention that terrifying feeling of them charging down the hallway to grab you. Back to Final Fantasy VII. It was bound to happen, honestly, with how unsettling the whole story is, but this time I am looking specifically at a location in the remake that made an already freaky location the stuff of nightmares. Taking the 2nd spot in our list today, the Train Graveyard. Nobody will be surprised to see this here on this list. With a name that includes graveyard, players already are skeptical as to what could be contained within. Whilst being a dumping ground for end-of-life trains, the dark and ominous vibes never felt more impactful till we returned in the remake. Tifa and Aerith grabbing hold of Cloud, even as he seems rather unsettled, train cars, a thick creepy mist, and you guessed it, ghosts. Wisp-like apparitions appear in the area, similar to fireflies found in Final Fantasy X, and if they are anything similar, they could potentially be the souls of the dead that have been separated from their bodies. The apparent graffiti and unsettling imagery drawn over the walls and floor here are made ever so more horrific when Aerith discovers that these ghosts are actually the spirits of children taken by Eligor, which in itself is a manifestation of the memories and sorrows of the abducted children. Nothing can prepare you for this. As for our final entry in our list, potentially the most haunted but lore-rich location, found deep within Final Fantasy XII is the Necrohole of Nabudis, formerly the capital of Nebradia, a small city-state that was one of the largest political powers. It was invaded and completely obliterated by the Arcadian Empire using the Midlight Shard. The city once stood upon a gigantic lake, but since Dr. Sid had ordered Judge Zek, now known as Redus, to test out the Midlight Shard, which in turn decimated the city, crashing it down into the lake beneath, annihilating everyone residing there, causing the souls of the lives lost to haunt the ruins. The party can attempt to navigate these dilapidated ruins, but should do so carefully since the mist rolled in, as have the most foul monsters. If that's not enough, locked deep within the walls of this necrohole lies 3 unspeakable beasts with enough power to destroy the world. Due to the immense horrors that lurk here, this dungeon is also filled with extremely valuable loot, but only for the most prepared and brave players that are willing to risk it all. That's it for our list of the scariest locations in the Final Fantasy series. If you have come across any unsettling or creepy locations in your adventures through the series that you think should be added to this list, please let me know in the comments below. If you have enjoyed this video and you would like to see even more video game content, please do hit that like and subscribe button to support the channel, but to also be kept updated on upcoming videos. I am that Brit Rick, thank you for watching my video, and until next time,